bring up the next person. This guy, he's gonna set it off. Please get up for Jeffrey Wilson.
Yeah, I'm 60 years old, so there's nothing wrong with that. It's good to be back at the Caravan. Hillary mentioned not going to the Toyotathon sales event. I don't think I'm going to be going back to Bob Hook Chevrolet anytime real soon. I was in the showroom over the weekend, and I'm standing near this Corvette. And this oily salesman sees me, and he comes up, and he's like, "So, thinking about a new Corvette?" And I'm like, "No, I'm here to buy a new Corvette, because what I'm thinking about is pussy." I was hoping somebody here could help me out. I should be totally honest and upfront, I think. Full disclosure, next Monday is my second meeting of the Premature Ejaculation Support Society. And I was hoping somebody knows. I didn't really know what to wear to that kind of meeting. At the first one, I just came in my pants. Okay, here's a joke. How can you tell that a cat is from Switzerland? If you see him skiing down a mountain. I mentioned that I'm a dad. I know that's a dad joke. Yeah, I am a dad, and actually my son George is sitting right there. And I wanted to introduce George just briefly. And this part of the act is completely true, totally on the level. George and I did something this past summer that's pretty special, I think, pretty unique. Back in July, we visited Australia and New Zealand, which is pretty cool in itself. But the thing that makes that unique is when we landed in Sydney, George and I at that point realized a long-time goal and dream of ours of standing together on all 7 continents. So we did it. So George and I have visited all 7 continents together. So I think that's pretty neat. We've been around the world, and we've been around the world twice, so that's pretty cool. So I wanted to tell just a couple quick stories from some of our travels. Actually from our first trip to another country. Well, actually that's not true. We had been to Canada, but that's kind of attached. So I guess our first trip overseas, we took way back when George was only 8 years old, and we went to Ireland. And I knew that in Ireland you could take little kids into the pubs with you. So I taught George this little joke to use in the Irish pubs. And you have to know what Irish coffee is. Irish coffee, if you don't know, it's black coffee spiked with a bunch of Jameson whiskey with some whipped cream on top, and it's really good. So I taught George this joke, and we would go into a pub in Dublin or Galway or wherever, and he would hop up at the bar and his little feet would dangle off the stool, and he would order an Irish coffee. And the bartenders would just look at him, and they would say, "But you're just a wee lad. What are you wanting with Irish coffee, boyo?" And George would say, "I like my coffee like I like my women, hot, black, and full of whiskey." So one more quick joke. On that same trip, we visited Killarney, Ireland, and we were on a group tour, and we stayed in Killarney for 2 nights. And on the second day at breakfast, some of the folks in our group were talking about how much fun that they had had at the Danny Man Irish Music Pub. So we decided that that night we would go to the Danny Man. And we did. And we're walking over there after dinner. And on the way, George asked me to buy him an ice cream cone. So I did, and we continue on to the pub, and it wasn't far away. And George is eating this ice cream cone, literally 1 molecule at a time, in the way that just an only child can eat ice cream because there's no competition. So we get to the pub, and I'm like, come on, I want to go in, hurry up and eat. And he's like, "Oh, I can't eat any faster." And I'm like, "Come on, George, I'm not getting any younger." He's like, "Oh, Dad, I'm getting a brain freeze." So this Irish woman, who it turned out was the hostess for the pub, was standing outside the door, and she saw us having this little discussion. And she comes up to me, and the Irish people have no filter whatsoever. And she gets right in my face, and she goes, "Are you coming in then?" And I said, yeah, we're coming in. I'm just letting George have a chance to finish his ice cream." And she looks at me, and her face gets all red. And she says, "What kind of a place do you think this is? Do you think we don't let boys eat ice cream? Get in here right now." and she grabs his wrist and she pulls him into the bar. And I'm standing there on the street in Killarney thinking, I just got ripped a new one because I didn't get an 8-year-old kid into the bar fast enough. And then I realized, well, yeah, motherfucker, you're in Ireland. That's my time. Thanks very much.
Give it up for Jeffrey Wilson one more time. That's my dad. He adopted me.